the next episode of our industry series. Today we are with a market expert and e-commerce strategist and a digital evangelist who holds more than 60 years of experience in building and expanding automation tools of social media marketing, especially for e-commerce brands. Please welcome Mr. Ankit Agarwal, the co-founder of AdWorthy, a marketing automation platform for e-commerce. Hello, Mr. Agarwal. How are you doing?
Hi, Aditi. This is very happy to be here. I'm doing very well. I'm sure, like many of you, I'm also working out of home. But given it's been around close to 2 months, we have been working out of home. Got used to it by now. But doing very well, Aditi. Thank you for having me on this show.
Yeah, Mr. Agarwal. So, what are the significant operational challenges that you and your team are facing in this pandemic period?
Absolutely. I think that's a very interesting question. I think many of us have realized that COVID-19 has brought challenges more than what we anticipated. Purely in terms of, I think, challenges, two key challenges. While from a standpoint of operating, we always were very work from home friendly. So even before the COVID-19, we used to have some people in our team work out of home, which means we used to use Hangouts for our internal communication, meeting invites for all our internal discussions. So purely in terms of coordinating with my team, which is roughly around 40 people, we didn't face much of a problem. So when we moved from pre-COVID to post-COVID or during COVID, our team was kind of able to function more or less with the same efficiency. But one key difference which came was a lot of brands we work with were e-commerce brands, right? And these guys figured out their warehouses were shut down, their deliveries were not happening because logistics was shut down. So because their warehouse not working, delivery not working, they didn't want to market on, let's say, Facebook, Google, programmatic, right? So what happened is they lowered their marketing spends, they shut down their marketing spends, which was more of a business impact due to COVID and not really kind of an operational challenge, because operationally we were doing perfectly fine, but from a marketing standpoint, of course, it went down.
Yeah. So, how is this COVID-19 impacting the whole digital advertising ecosystem according to you?
Right. So, there are a lot of different, I would say, factors which have happened over the last 2 months. Okay. One is, as I was telling, a lot of brands, not only e-commerce brands, other brands also have lowered their spends on marketing, either platforms like Facebook, Google, all programmatic. The second is also because a lot of people are working out of home, they have a lot more time at their disposal. I personally am spending more time on platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn these days because I'm sitting at home and really nowhere to go, right? So what is happening is, think of it, the demand on Facebook for ads is coming down because people are not advertising. The supply of ads is increasing because more and more people are sitting on Facebook, right? And Google and Instagram and LinkedIn. So what we saw was the cost of advertising on digital platforms has come down. Okay, it's just pure demand supply, right? When there is more less demand and more supply, the cost comes down. Economics, right? Now, when I'm saying cost is coming down, it has come down by a significant percentage. 80% is what we saw, right? Which means if you had a certain budget and you were reaching out to, let's say, 1 lakh potential customers, due to COVID, now you can reach out to 5 lakh potential customers using the digital platform. So digital platform has become more effective during COVID purely because the cost has come down.
So, what are the factors that every e-commerce brand or agency considers for driving their digital campaigns effectively?
Right. See, there is one unique thing about e-commerce. Okay, the unique thing is, on e-commerce, you can go to you can see an ad, you can click and go to the website, you can make the purchase in the same session. Okay, if you're talking about something like an let's say real estate or an education, right? So what will happen is, you will see the ad, you go to the website, but you are not going to make a purchase. I will not buy an apartment on a website, right? So e-commerce is unique in the sense that the fulfillment happens online. Fulfillment means the purchase happens online. Now, because the purchase happens online, you can actually measure it accurately. So you can measure that, look, if you spend like $1,000, you got like $5,000 of sales, right? So because you can measure accurately, everybody wants to measure it, right? So whenever an e-commerce website wants to market using digital platforms, the key metric or the key factor they consider is return on ad spend, which means if I spend like $1,000, how much am I getting? Am I getting like 4x? Am I getting 5x? Am I getting 3x? So ROAS, return on ad spend, is one of the key factors we have seen which e-commerce brands look for during digital marketing.
So would you like to share a couple of strategies that works best in reaching the target audience through real-time ads?
Absolutely. I think when you talk about target audience, what we need to understand is we need to divide or split target audience into three key buckets. This is very, very important. Okay. The first bucket is people who have never heard about your brand. These people are, they haven't seen your logo, they haven't come on your website, they haven't made any purchase. These are like completely new to a brand. This is what we call as pure prospects or prospects. Okay. The second segment of people, Aditi, are people who know about your brand, who have come on your website, maybe engaged with your Facebook or social pages, maybe clicked on one of your previous ads, maybe watched a video of your brand, but never made a purchase. Okay, so these are people who are engaging with you and not made purchased. Okay, the third is of course your customers. These are people who have purchased from you in the past. Okay, now when you are targeting on digital platforms, each of these has to be targeted separately. Okay, the first one is pure prospects, never heard about your brand, never know about you. This is where there are strategies like look-alike audiences on platforms like Facebook. So you can actually tell Facebook, look, these are my customers, why don't you find me people most relevant or most similar to these customers? And Facebook runs in a logic and figures out the most closest people. Okay, so that is a strategy for prospecting. For people who have known your brand, come to your website before but not purchased, you can do something like retargeting. There are many strategies of retargeting which can be used. And for your customers, one very important thing is you can upload your customer data from your CRM database, and you can upload it on platforms like social, you can upload it on platforms like programmatic. In fact, Digital Kites also helps in doing that. So for customers, you can upload the data and target them. So the strategy of targeting varies from the segment which you want to target: prospect, engage, and customers.
Mr. Agarwal, can you specify a few retargeting strategies?
Absolutely. So retargeting, again, I think I know when I talk about retargeting, one very common thing which comes to everybody's mind is, let's say you go to a website and see a product, okay, and then you go back to a social platform like Facebook, or you go back to an app and you see an ad of the same product. Okay, I'm sure it has happened with you. You have been to Amazon, I've been to Amazon. We see a product, we see an ad of the same product, right? This is known as dynamic remarketing. Okay, there are campaigns on Google, Facebook, and programmatic which you can run. Catalog sales campaign is what Facebook calls it, which does this. Okay, so very common strategy for remarketing. Having said that, there are other things which can be done. Okay, this is not the only one. One common one is something called cart abandonment remarketing. So let's say, for example, you went to a website, you added product to cart, and you didn't purchase, right? And the next day, you get an email saying that 10% off, or you go to Facebook and you see a 10% off, right? And that is known as cart abandonment retargeting, right? Then there are other retargeting techniques, like people who have watched video. Let's say, for example, I'm running a video ad, or I'm running a video creative, right? So people who have seen more than 3 seconds of my video on Facebook, on YouTube, they can also be remarketed. A lot of marketers miss out on retargeting your video audience, right? And the last but not the least, of course, is customer retargeting. You can actually get data about your offline customers. If I'm an offline store today, I might be getting a lot of customers coming to my store. I might have their email IDs and phone numbers. So one very effective strategy is you can use your CRM data, you can upload it on these platforms, and you can retarget your offline customers with online ads. So these are some of the retargeting strategies. Works like a charm. Highly recommended.
Thank you for those insights, Mr. Agarwal. So my next question would be, what are the major considerations that help a brand or agency to choose programmatic as a major advertising strategy?
Absolutely. So, programmatic, just to make people understand what is programmatic. Programmatic is basically, let's say, for example, I'm opening an app. Let's say I'm opening a game app, right? So, what usually happens is in real time, um, the app owner sends an information saying that I've opened the app, and they don't give me my email ID. They just send my device ID, and there are people who can programmatically bid to show ads, okay, which is why it's called as programmatic. Now, one very key advantage of programmatic is the depth of reach. Okay. Now, I give you an example of being able to upload your email IDs and phone numbers, right? Now, if you just focus on social or search, right, you may not be able to find all your customers on social. And very simple example, if there are 100 people walking into my offline store, right, I may not have all 100 of them using Facebook, right? Or I may not have all 100 of them doing search on Google, right? But I know that these 100 people are doing something. They might be opening a news app on their phone. They might be playing a game on their phone. They might be doing crossword on let's say their mobile, right? So they might be doing something. If they're not doing social, they're doing something, right? The benefit of programmatic is it helps you reach out to all those people who are may not be doing social, but you might be doing anything. They might just be reading a news on their news app, but you will still be able to show them ads. So one key advantage of programmatic is the depth of its reach. It helps you reach out to people who are otherwise not reachable.
So how do you think, how does a platform like Digital Kites can be helpful for your business model?
Absolutely. So we work with a lot of e-commerce brands. These are people who are in the apparel category majorly, and who would want to sell on their own website. Okay. Now, usually what happens, like I was telling, is when people come on their website and see certain products. Okay. What we have seen is when we remarket the same products, the same people on social and on search, we get very good results. Okay. But the challenge is we don't find everybody on social and search. Okay. The benefit of Digital Kites as a platform is because of its programmatic capabilities and its ability to match people with email IDs, with phone numbers, with CRM database, it can make your remarketing more effective. So while you were able to remarket only on Facebook and Google, now you can remarket on Facebook, Google, plus let's say news apps, plus gaming apps, plus websites. So your remarketing universe increases, which also means that your remarketing performance increases, because remarketing typically gives very good return on ad spend. So the more you are able to remarket people, the more sales you can get. So for an e-commerce brand, I think it just enhances the remarketing capabilities.
Would you like to share any ideas that work better in retargeting the audiences across the digital ecosystem?
Yes, so I already spoke about some strategies for retargeting. Okay, like I spoke about being able to upload your customer data. I spoke about cart abandonment, dynamic remarketing. Having said that, there are 2 or 3 more strategies which a lot of brands miss out on. Okay, one of them is like I was telling, that there is a lot of audience which people who are coming to your Facebook page or who are coming to your Instagram page are interacting with you. So what a lot of people miss out on is this is also valuable audience. You can actually remarket these people. You can show them ads of your products and get additional sales. Similarly, there are people who are watching your YouTube videos. You can remarket them. There are people who are coming to your home pages and not visiting any product page. You can remarket them also. So remarketing has to be done in a more holistic fashion. Lot of us do something called a cart abandonment, but that is not the only way of remarketing. Remarketing has to be done across all your properties, across your website, across your social pages, across your YouTube videos. So every place where a customer can engage with your brand, you should try to remarket them uh, on those properties.
So what can be the major factors in building an effective multi-channel marketing strategy?
Right. So, so when you say multi-channel, right, there are at least 3-4 dominant channels which come to my mind, right? And I've spoken about them, but I'll still try to reiterate. One is a social. I think social is big these days. Second is search. Again, people search. Third is programmatic. I think programmatic is also a very big universe. People who are viewing apps, viewing websites, which is majorly display network. We can call them as display network. So these are some of the key channels. Okay. Now each channel comes with its own strengths. Okay. And I'll give an example. Like search has a strength because these are people who are searching for your brand, right? Or a product of yours. So these people are high intent. They are more likely to convert on your website. They are more likely to purchase a higher value. Okay. Second is social. Social is not intent. We don't search on Facebook, we don't search on Instagram. But social is impulse. So you go to Facebook, you're browsing something, you like it and you purchase it, right? So, so social has the benefit of impulse. Okay. The third is programmatic. We spoke about programmatic has depth of its reach, right? So if you have a customer, you can definitely or more certainly reach them using programmatic, right? So for a brand should try to make the most out of each of its platforms, each of its channels. So imagine if I'm selling apparel. Apparel is high impulse. Okay, so I would want to use social because social is impulse. I would not use search so much because not many people are searching for my brand. Apparel is impulse, as I said. But I would still want to use programmatic because I want to remarket my customers. Okay. On the contrary, if I'm not apparel, and let's say I'm selling something like a high intent product, and I'll give an example, maybe I'm selling protein boxes. Okay. Now, protein boxes are not impulse, right? I'm not going to go to Facebook and see, oh, protein box, let me buy it. No, I don't go to gym, so I don't want to buy a protein box, right? So, protein box is an intent product. So, you want to spend more on search because it's an intent product. You want to spend less on social because it's an intent product, but you still want to spend more on programmatic because programmatic will help you retarget your customers. Even for an intent product, retargeting is important. Even for an impulse product, retargeting is important. So your cross channel mix should depend upon your brand. Depending on the kind of brand you have, you would want to mix and match your channels to get you the best performance.
So coming to the last question, would you like to add any suggestions for brands in delivering personalized ads to the target across the digital channels?
Yes, I think increasingly, as we are seeing, every brand is going digital, right? And more and more brands are trying to leverage all the digital channels to reach out to their potential customers. So digital is going to become overcrowded. And if it has not already become overcrowded, it will become in the next few years, right? So what will become very important for a brand is how can they personalize the messaging? How can they make it very personalized depending on the customer? Okay, and I'll give you a few ideas how it can be done. Okay, so let's say, for example, you want to show ad to your existing customer. Okay, so this is someone who has come on your website before, who has already seen your products. So don't show them the same products. Show them your new arrival products because there is a likelihood they might not have seen the new products on your website. Okay. Similarly, there is someone who has come to your category page. Okay, they have probably come to your tops page or let's say dresses page. And I'm talking from an e-commerce standpoint, but the same can be applied to other industries also, right? So show them your top selling products. Okay, because they have come on a one category, they're interested in that category. Show them your top selling products in that category. That way you can personalize your messaging, right? And the third may be someone who has no idea about your brand. Okay, they have never come on your brand, they have no idea. So when you are reaching out to them, show them your flagship products. Okay, because these are the products which represent you in the industry. They are the ones which are most bought by people. They are the evergreen products on your website. So for a pure prospect, show them your flagship products. So depending on the kind of interaction a person has with your website, whether it's a customer or a prospect or an engage, you should customize your messaging. The more customization and personalization you can do, the better performance you can get on a digital platform.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. That was a great session. And thank you, everyone. Till then, stay safe, stay home.